Hey all, Hipper here. So today we are talking about something that I have been complaining about for a long time. But first I'll show you my Minotaur build here. I'm using Kara McMordorf here as my guys, but it is Tenant. And on the ship I have the usual agile setup here. And I have my epic modification in the 4th slot. Yeah, and then I have radar. I always run radar on my Minnow. And 2.3 rudder, 38 knots, 660 turning radius, and we're sporting a 63 solo win rate in this ship here. So that's pretty good. So anyway, what we're talking about today is divisions. I have said since this game came out that divisions need to be separate from solo play. I mean, that's it's pretty obvious, and that's the way it is in pretty much any other game out there. Except for the games where you have a whole bunch of players, like Battlefield, for example, where you have 64 players or even more, and you can have squads of 4 players. I mean, that's okay, because there's so many players that a squad of 4 aren't going to really have that much of an impact. But look at a game like World of Warships Legends, where your team consists of only 9 players. So if you have a division of 3 players, that team has an incredible advantage. And of course that only counts if the division is made of good players. If the division is made out of trash players, then they're going to be a total liability for their team. But in any case, they shouldn't be mixed in with people who play alone, for those 2 reasons. Like, either you're going to get a super unicum division that you cannot really defend against because you're teamed up with randoms, or you're going to get a division that just, you know, sails in and dies because they're all pretty bad. So the only way to fix this problem here is to make divisions have their own matchmaking. It's fairly simple, really, and I don't believe the wargaming excuse anymore that there's not enough players in the game to make this happen. I simply don't believe it anymore. And even if that's the case, well, if you're playing in a division, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. Too bad. Sour butt, like we say in Denmark. I don't think it's a fair or enjoyable way to play this game when you know, people can team up and have a massive advantage, like an absolutely incredible advantage. Because like I said, a team of 3 players, that's 1/3 of a whole team. And if they work together, which, you know, they usually do, and if they work together well, they will win. It's very, very rare that a division of unicum players don't win, or even good players. It doesn't have to be super good, like amazing players. But then on the other hand, like I said, if it's 3 like 45% win rate players, they are definitely going to lose then. And it just creates an imbalance in the game, and it also creates like confusion when it comes to stats and how people actually perform, because you can't really tell if this is their own personal performance, or it is because they just team up with a few other good players or average players, whatever, and just you know, carry each other. Because that's what you can do in a division. And I'll show you in this game here how annoying it is. Like, when you put in good effort and you win your own flank, and you have your team set up for success. Like here, we've just removed 2 destroyers right off the bat, and we're just about to remove this battleship here, freeing up the whole flank over here, and solo capping A in the process. I mean, it's hard to get a better setup early in the game than this in the first 4 minutes, right? So my team should be able to absolutely capitalize off this, even if they are potatoes. Like, it will be hard to to lose this battle here, right? But the thing is then, when you're facing divisions, and in this case here we're having a 3-player division on the red team, and we don't even have a division on my team, which makes it like even more lopsided and ridiculous. And once the division realizes, hey, that Minnow is a threat over there in the A cap, like, all they have to do is just team up and take me out. That's it. I mean, 3 ships sailed by good players who, you know, have a common goal and, you know, work together. There's very little you can do against that, and you kind of rely on your team to help you out. And of course, when you play solo, you cannot rely on that, and that's the whole problem here. That inherently this mix here is unfair, and it's not fun, and some people use it as a crutch to you know, seem like they are better players than they really are. So yeah, I've said this for years, and I mean, it's nothing new, but it is just very annoying, and I don't think it's fair that people who decide to play together should, you know, have fun in the game on behalf of people who choose not to play together. Things would be a lot more, you know, amicable and just fair, really, if the divisions had their own matchmaker and queue. And then I don't care if a Unicum division gets matched against like 45% win rate people. I don't care. That's fine. They can just, I mean, the 45 guys can just not play in the division. It's very simple like that. But the other way around here, when like a very good division or a very bad division gets mixed up into solo play, that's just not fair. You can see here what's happening. I mean, the division have decided that I'm a threat and they can't win this battle unless I am removed. So you can see all three of them are leaving their flank because they can do that because, you know, my team is probably not the best team in the world and they don't really know what's going on. And they also have, you know, they don't have the judgment to realize like, hey, if they kill this ship over here, we're going to lose. And they probably don't even know what it takes to lose, really. But obviously this division here knows that really well. And it's kind of like a firing squad moving up on you, and there's really nothing you can do. It's a Schlieffen, an Alaska, and a Kurfürst. I mean, even if I get one of them, the other two are sure to get me. And they have plenty of time to pull this off because, as you can see, my team is not aware of what's going on, and that's not fair. I mean, if I had 3 other random people on this red team here, it would be more equal. Like, it would be the game, like the team with the best players who won. And I know best players don't really mean much in this one here, but that is still what I mean. And I often hear that good old excuse about, oh, but if you're up against a division, you just have to get on your mic and organize, you know, your team. Yeah, good luck doing that. When you're organizing random people, that's like herding cats. It's never gonna happen. And even if you did, they would probably be worse players than, you know, the division anyway. So you can see here, on the red team, everyone's dead except for the division. And because the division works together and they have a plan, they know what they're doing, and they're not potatoes, at least not in this case here, they're going to win. And it's a fairly unfair victory, this one here, I think. Because my destroyer, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's down to like 1% hit points, and in a minute you'll be seeing him torp and then smoke up for no reason. And my battleships are better. At least they're capping, and they're actually trying to turn this thing here around. But like, they still lack, you know, the experience and the understanding of the whole game. Because they should have reacted a long time ago, and they shouldn't have been in the position they were in the beginning. And they shouldn't have allowed a whole division to completely abandon their flank, sail across the map, like wasting 2 minutes doing that, you know, rushing into my cap and like putting me in front of the firing squad, and then grabbing the cap and then, you know, winning the battle. It's it should be impossible to pull off, but because 3 players work together, and these are good players, and there's nothing wrong with that, then they're going to win. So my suggestion is that this shouldn't happen anymore. Divisions should have their own matchmaking, and solo players should have their own matchmaking. And I think, like I said in the beginning, I think there's enough players in the game now for that to happen. And even if divisions then have to wait a little bit longer, or solo players, I don't know who's actually would be the ones waiting, that's just too bad. Like, I think it's a fair sacrifice that you have to wait maybe 2 minutes in a division if you want to play a division battle. I don't think anyone can really complain about that, to be honest. Wouldn't it also be more fun and more challenging if you play in a division and you're actually matched against other divisions? I think it would be, because I mean, I played in division myself. And when you're in a division and you face a potato team, like, it's a total, like a steamroll. It's not fun. it's just a way of padding your stats very, very easily, and lots of people take advantage of that. And also, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But why don't they do that in their own matchmaking? Yeah, something to think about, right? Now, you may think I'm whinging and complaining here, and perhaps I am. But I think it is justified. I think this is something that is just inexcusable in a multiplayer game like this, where you allow that many players to team up on an opposing team. Like it is, like I said, a third of the opposing team you can be sure are working together and have a plan. And in most cases, they also spawn and have their own, for example, their own flank, and that's huge, absolute and massive advantage. Because when you work together, you are almost guaranteed to win that flank, no matter what. No matter what. The only thing that could happen is, 1 out of 100, you get matched against an equally skilled division. That's incredibly rare, and it really only happens when people do count-ins. In like total random battles, a division of 3 65+ win rate players are going to win. In 99 out of 100 cases. This is also the reason that I'm very interested in the difference between solo stats and division stats, because there is a massive difference, a huge difference. Just when I look at my own stats, for example, when I play in a division versus I play solo, the difference is incredible. Like sometimes the win rate can be different by almost 40%. 40%. That's huge. That's more than huge. That's enormous. That's gigantic. And well, it needs to be fixed. So I would really like to know what you guys think. So in the comments, like if you think that divisions should be in their own queue and matchmaking, let me know. And if you think the opposite, also let me know. And you'd have to have some pretty good arguments for that. But I would still like to know. I would like to know if people think that this is something that is a problem in the game, because I definitely think it is. And it wouldn't be a problem, like I said, if there was 16 players on each team, or perhaps 24, 32. Then, a bunch of 3, they're not going to make that much of a difference. But in this game here, where 3 players make up 1/3 of the team with their own spawn, that is just unfair. Definitely unfair. And like I said, I have asked Wargaming numerous times why this is, and why this decision was made. And the answer is that they wanted people to be able to play together, which is fair, of course. You should be able to do that in this game. But they didn't want divisions to have too much power, so they limited it to 3. But I'm going to tell you that 3 is too much. It's way too much. And if they don't want to change that to no divisions, or even 2, I think is too much, because that's still 2 out of 9 players. That's too much. If they don't want to do that, well, then the only option in my mind is to make separate queues, separate matchmaking, and separate games for people who play alone and people who play in a division. It really is a no-brainer, and I don't know why the game is like this. So here we are. I beat them on XP, with most of them more than 1,000 XP, but still a loss. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you out there.